During this video, we will go over two separate session impact indicators that are intertwined, which both involve conflict resolution. Number 17, to help youth understand and resolve conflict and negative behavior, staff encourages youth to examine the relationship between actions and consequences. Number 18, conflict resolution. Staff seeks input from youth to determine both cause and solution of conflict and negative behavior. This video will go over the 6-step conflict resolution model before looking at the session impact indicators. The conflict resolution model provides the framework for successful conflict resolution, which meet the two indicators. Remember, the best way to deal with conflict is to provide strong program activities. Make it so youth would rather participate positively than be involved in conflict. If a program has excessive conflict, the activities should be addressed and looked to be more engaging. Some conflict is normal. Too much conflict indicates a need to change the program approach. Conflict is a part of life. Conflict and negative behavior are therefore inevitable when interacting with youth. Further, if handled well, conflicts can provide unmatched opportunity for growth and learning. On the other hand, too much conflict can be disastrous for an activity or youth program. Conflict can occur between two or more youth or between adults and youth. Reframing conflict promotes an approach in which adults support youth in solving their conflicts and problems rather than punishing the youth for just getting in trouble. Programs that serve youth have traditionally viewed conflict as a threat. However, conflict plays an important role in human development as a means of growth. We must learn to reframe conflict and help youth to see how to approach conflict in a healthy manner. Reframing conflict requires us to change our view of conflict from something negative to a skill and a way to challenge our old ideas and help us to develop as people. Conflict, when done properly, becomes an opportunity for growth. So how do we reframe conflict? There is a proven 6-step model. Number 1, approach calmly. Number 2, describe what you see. Number 3, read the situation. Number 4, acknowledge the youth's feelings. Number 5, give concrete choices. Number 6, allow the youth time to recover. Approach calmly. Staying calm is key. Staff should approach a situation calmly and acknowledge the feelings of the youth involved. It's important to suspend judgment as much as possible. Approaching conflicts calmly and matter-of-factly models the acceptance of conflict as healthy and normal part of social interaction. Because it is difficult for youth to think about solutions when they are filled with strong feelings, help youth bail out these feelings until they are brought back into balance. Step 2, describe what you see. During Step 2, refrain from stating what you think the youth is feeling or what you think triggered the behavior. In Step 2, you are describing what you see. Use a neutral voice to describe the youth's actions and body. A neutral voice has a steady rhythm and stable volume. It conveys that you are thinking rationally and you are available to help the youth through the difficulty. Read the situation. In this step, your job is to pay attention to the youth's body language and breathing so you can decide if the youth is ready to move through the remaining steps or if they need more time. Say something like, "What happened?" As you've heard before, communicating that you are a supportive adult is important. In this step, your presence as a supportive adult will help the youth open up instead of being worried about getting in trouble. C, one-on-one. There are 3 types of calming statements: encouraging statements, factual statements, and empathetic statements. Calming statements. Youth will respond differently to different kinds of calming statements at different times. It's helpful to create a list of statements to keep in mind that you can pull from so that you are prepared for any situation. There are 3 types of calming statements: encouraging statements, factual statements, and empathetic statements. Encouraging statements. Think of encouraging statements as a pep talk for youth. You are empowering them to have a positive outlook and cope with difficulty. An encouraging statement is something like, "You can handle this." Factual statements. For some youth, encouraging statements escalate the situation. They might respond to the statement, "You can handle this," by screaming, "No, I can't." Instead, try a factual statement about your role as a supportive adult. You could say, "I am here to help." Empathetic statements. An empathetic statement comes from the heart and shows the youth you understand their perspective. An example of an empathetic statement is, "I see this is difficult." Step 4 is to acknowledge the youth's feelings. As much as possible, empower the youth to label their own feelings by stating something like, "That was a big reaction. What's going on?" Depending on the youth's age, disability, English proficiency, or their understanding of their own feelings, you may need to help them name the feeling. In that case, you should say, "It seems like you're disappointed. Is that right, or is it something else?" Step 5. Give concrete choices. Some ideas are taking a break as an opportunity to calm, not as a punishment, engaging in a preferred activity for a short time to reset, and taking a walk with a staff member if it's possible. Step 5. Concrete choices. After having acknowledged the youth's feelings, they may appear calm. Perhaps the youth is responding to your questions so it appears like their problem-solving brain is working again. For many youth, even if they appear calm, they are still not ready to logically think through solving the problem. That's why step 5 is to offer concrete choices, which are acceptable alternatives to give the youth an opportunity to fully calm down. Step 6. Allow the youth time to recover. After offering a concrete choice, the youth may need a few moments to decide which will work best to help them calm down. Pause and remain calm so youth can think through the choices. Try to be flexible once the youth does make a choice. For example, if you offer the youth time in the director's office but they would like to sit at the reception desk, that's okay. When offering youth choices within the de-escalation model, it is a best practice to keep the youth within their own program area when possible. Every program area should have an area for youth to be able to calm down. It is sometimes best to remove the youth from the program area, but this should not happen unless it is needed. Youth need to feel empowered and they have some control over a situation. This helps them de-escalate. During this time, it is okay to remain quiet and use few words. Sometimes the youth just needs to know that you are there as a supportive adult. You can use nonverbal cues to show your support, such as giving a gentle smile when the youth looks at you or walking alongside them instead of in front or behind. You could also offer short supportive phrases like, "I am here when you are ready to talk." As always, remember to use a neutral tone of voice. Conflict resolution. When conflict arises and youth need to de-escalate, it is important to calm the situation before addressing how to solve the conflict. The de-escalation steps give staff the framework to handle concerning behavior. The goal of de-escalation is to get youth back to the problem-solving brain, not reaction brain. Session Impact Indicator number 17, Conflict Resolution. To help youth understand and resolve conflicts and negative behavior, staff encourages youth to examine the relationship between their actions and consequences. Session Impact Indicator number 17. To help facilitate youth understanding of the relationship between their actions and consequences, staff should ask youth questions such as, how would you feel if someone said this to you? Or, when you speak that way, how do you think it affects the situation? Session Impact Indicator number 18. Conflict Resolution. Staff seeks input from youth to determine both cause and solution of conflicts and negative behavior. Youth generate possible solutions and choose one. Indicator number 18 goes a step beyond many approaches to conflict and assesses whether the adult seeks input from the youth into both the cause and the solution to the conflict. The practical way to do this is first to gather information. It is very important to understand the details of the conflict in order to help youth come up with the most effective solution. Second, ask for possible solutions and choose one together. It's important to remember that youth may not be able to do this the first time you ask them to. In such a case, it's okay to prompt them or make suggestions. Remember, staff must consider if de-escalation is needed before resolving the conflict. Then help youth examine the relationship between their actions and consequences. Then seek input from youth to determine both the cause and solution of conflict and negative behavior.